All right, coming in, grab a seat, get comfortable. Welcome to today's explainer. I am just so thrilled to have you all in our virtual grammar class today. You know, if you've ever found yourself stumbling over tiny words like this or that, or, well, just wondering why a sentence doesn't sound quite right, you are in exactly the right place. We are going to master demonstrative pronouns together step by step. So, here is our lesson plan up on the board for today. We'll start with our Welcome to Grammar class, then move to the whiteboard for near versus far. After that, we'll look at time, events, and ideas, check out pronouns at home and shops, and wrap up with a pop quiz on correcting mistakes. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1. Welcome to Grammar class, understanding the basics of pointing words. Now, we are going to take this nice and slow today to clear up any common confusion. Demonstrative pronouns. What are they? Well, they are simply pronouns used to point to specific people, things, or ideas. In fact, the word demonstrative literally means showing or pointing. I like to tell my students to think of these words as your linguistic pointing fingers. Instead of physically extending your hand to point at a book or a building, you just use these words to do the pointing for you, right inside your sentences. Moving right along to section 2, the whiteboard, near versus far, visualizing distance and number. I want everyone to direct your attention to the diagram I'm drawing up here on our virtual whiteboard. Look at this perfectly organized grid. We have 4 keywords to remember: this, these, that, and those. To choose the right one, you literally only need to ask yourself 2 simple questions. First, how many things am I pointing at? Is it singular, meaning just one, or plural, meaning more than one? Second, what is the distance? Is it near, as in right close to you, or is it far away? If it's one thing and it's near, we use this. If it's multiple things and they're near, we use these. But if it's one thing far away, we switch to that. And finally, for multiple things far away, we use those. See? It's like a simple math formula for words. Let's put this into practice with things right in front of us. Read through these examples with me. This is my phone. These are my shoes. This is delicious. Maybe you're eating a slice of cake right now. These are expensive, pointing to some glasses right in your hand. This is my seat. These smell wonderful, holding a fresh bouquet of flowers. And this brilliantly illustrates how we talk about things close to us. You can practically feel the objects in these sentences because they are right near you, whether they're singular or plural. Now, let's step back and look across the room, or maybe across the street. We need to shift our vocabulary. Read these with me. That is a tall building. Those are beautiful mountains way off in the distance. That belongs to Ahmed. Those look amazing. That is very expensive. Those are my friends, waving at you from the whole other side of the cafeteria. By simply swapping this for that, or these for those, you instantly tell the listener that the object is far from you. It's basically a built-in GPS for your sentences. Okay, pay super close attention to this next distinction class, because this is where a lot of people trip up. Look at the left side of our board here, demonstrative pronouns. They replace nouns completely. For example, this is heavy. The word this stands totally alone, holding all the weight of this sentence subject. Now, look at the right side. Demonstrative adjectives. These come directly before a noun to describe it. This box is heavy. Notice how this is sitting right next to box. If a noun immediately follows the pointing word, it's acting as an adjective. If the pointing word is acting alone, replacing the noun entirely, it's a pronoun. Keep that golden rule right in your back pocket. All right, section 3. Time, events, and ideas, pointing to concepts you can't touch. So far, we've been pointing at physical things, right? Phones, shoes, mountains. But what about the invisible things? Well, as it turns out, we use these exact same pointing words to navigate time. Imagine a timeline drawn right across the board. When we talk about the present, or a time that feels very near to us right now, we use this. Look at today. We say, this is a great day. Or for the current week, I am busy this week. We are anchored right in the present. But when we look backwards down our timeline to a past day, we push that event away from us by using that. We say, I remember that day. Just like physical distance, we use this for near time and that for distant time. Let's see how this works with ideas and situations. This is what I mean, pointing to a current thought. That is a good idea, pointing to something someone literally just suggested to you. I do not believe that, distancing yourself from an unbelievable statement. That was a wonderful trip, referring to an experience way out in the past. That was amazing. Those were difficult questions. See how we use those for multiple questions in the past? We're taking the exact same rules for physical objects and elegantly applying them to our thoughts and our memories. Moving right along to Section 4, Pronouns at Home and Shops, using grammar in everyday conversation. All right, class, grab your coats. I want us to step out of this virtual classroom for a minute and see how these words function out in the wild. Imagine two friends standing right next to each other. One notices something in the other's hand. Listen to how they naturally talk. "Hey, what is this?" And the friend replies, "This is my new phone." Because the phone is right there, physically near both of them, they both naturally use this. It's immediate, it's present, and it's physically close. Now picture those exact same friends looking across a crowded room. One points to a group of people standing way over by the door. Who are those? The second friend looks over and says, "Those are my cousins." Since the group is far away from the speakers and there's more than one person, those is the absolute perfect word to use. You guys do this naturally all the time. Let's run through just a few more scenarios to really lock this in. At school, these are our books, sitting right on the desk, or that belongs to the teacher, pointing to a laptop across the room. At home, this is delicious as you're eating dinner, or those are old photographs, pointing to a shelf up high. In a shop, how much is this, holding up a shirt, or are those on sale, pointing to a display in the window. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how seamlessly we use these words everywhere. Whether you're studying, relaxing at home, or out spending money, you rely on these demonstrative pronouns to navigate the world. All right, Section 5. Pop quiz, correcting mistakes. Let's test your knowledge. I certainly hope you've been taking notes because it is time to apply the rules we literally just learned. Let's test your knowledge. Here is our first challenge up on the board. Can you spot the mistake? Read it carefully. "These is my pen." Look at the pointing word, these. Look at the verb, is, and then look at the noun, pen. Something in here is fighting against the rest of the sentence. Can you see what it is? Take a second. Well, if you caught the mismatch, excellent job. Here are the correct answers. You can either say, "This is my pen," or "These are my pens." You see, grammar loves harmony. Singular pronouns like this absolutely need singular verbs like is, and singular nouns like pen. On the flip side, plural pronouns like these absolutely demand plural verbs like are, and plural nouns like pens. You can't mix and match them. They have to agree. Okay, let's try another one. Can you correct this mistake? The sentence is, "That are my books." Look closely at the distance word and look at the number of objects being talked about. That are my books. How would you fix this so it sounds right? The correct answer is, "Those are my books." So the crucial point is that books is a plural noun, and the verb are is plural. The word that is singular, so it completely breaks the rule. We have to swap it out for its plural cousin, those, to perfectly match the plural books that are sitting far away. All right, final question for today's quiz. What is wrong with this sentence? "This flowers smell good." Imagine holding a beautiful bouquet, taking a deep breath, and saying, "This flowers smell good." Why does that make an English teacher's ear twitch? And the correct answer is, "These flowers smell good." Because flowers is plural, we have to use the plural pointing word these. Fantastic job, everyone. I am so incredibly impressed with your participation today. You are really getting the hang of making sure all the parts of your sentences are in perfect harmony. Now, before we dismiss class, I'm going to point back to the whiteboard one last time to look at our summary. I want you to take a mental snapshot of this grid. This, singular and near. These, plural and near. That, singular and far. Those, plural and far. It really is that straightforward. Whenever you feel stuck, just ask yourself those two magic questions. How many and how far? Which brings us to the very end of our explainer today. I have one final question to leave you with. Are these rules clear? And will you use that knowledge in your conversations today? I certainly hope so. Keep practicing, keep pointing, and keep observing how these tiny words shape our big ideas. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and class dismissed.